Scene script. Have you ever felt drained by your friends? Like they suck the energy right out of you? It's a sensation that many of us can relate to, yet we often don't talk about it. The feeling of exhaustion, the sense of being emotionally depleted after spending time with certain people in our lives. We might dismiss it as just having an off day, or perhaps we get so used to it that it becomes our normal. But let's take a moment to really delve into this phenomenon. This feeling, dear listeners, is far more common than we might think. It's not about being antisocial or not liking people. No, it's about the kind of energy we allow into our lives. We have friends who lift us up, make us laugh, and inspire us to be better. But then, there are those who seem to cast a shadow over our lives. They might be constantly negative, always complaining, or perhaps they just don't support us in the way we need. It's easy to brush these feelings aside, to tell ourselves that we're just being sensitive, or that it's our job to be there for our friends no matter what. But here's the thing, your emotions, your feelings are valid. And if someone in your life is consistently making you feel drained or unhappy, that's something worth paying attention to. The impact of negative energy from friends can be far-reaching. It can affect not just our mental health, but our physical well-being too. Stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, these can all be exacerbated by the presence of negativity in our lives. And over time, this can take a significant toll on our health and happiness. So what can we do about it? Well, the first step is recognizing it, acknowledging that it's not just you, and that it's okay to want more positivity in your life. Remember, it's not selfish to prioritize your well-being. Consider the story of Jane, a woman just like many of us. Jane has always been the type of person who believes in the power of friendship. She's the one who will drop everything to lend a hand when a friend is in need. She's the one who remembers birthdays, who sends thoughtful messages, who is always ready to listen and offer comfort. But as time went on, Jane began to feel more and more drained. She noticed that her phone was always buzzing with messages from friends. Not the good kind, the ones that make you smile and feel loved, but the ones that feel like a chore to read. The ones that are always about problems, complaints, and negativity. She found herself dreading social gatherings, not because she didn't care about her friends, but because she knew it would be another round of complaints, criticisms, and drama. One day, Jane was having a tough time. She had received some bad news and needed a shoulder to lean on. She reached out to her friends, hoping for some comfort and understanding, but instead, she was met with indifference. Some didn't respond at all, others were too busy with their own problems to offer her any support. Jane was left feeling alone and uncared for. This was a recurring theme in Jane's life. She was always there for her friends, ready to lend a hand, a shoulder, or an ear. But when she needed them, they were rarely there for her. She was constantly giving, but rarely receiving, and it was taking a toll on her. She was tired, she was drained, and she was beginning to lose her own sense of self in the process. Jane began to realize that something had to change. She couldn't continue to pour from an empty cup. She couldn't continue to be the only one investing in these friendships. She needed to step away from the negativity and find friends who would not only take, but also give back. She needed to find balance, and most importantly, she needed to start taking care of herself. Jane had an epiphany one day after a particularly draining encounter with her friends. It was a moment of pure clarity, like the sun breaking through the clouds after a storm. It was as if Jane was seeing her friendships for the first time, stripped bare of any pretenses. Jane was a good friend, always there for others, lending an ear, a shoulder, and her time. But she began to notice a pattern. The conversations were always about them, their problems, their drama. Jane was left feeling drained, her own needs and feelings pushed aside. She realized that her friends were not reciprocating the care and concern she was extending to them. Feeling unheard and undervalued, Jane decided to do some research. She delved into countless articles, studies, and personal stories about friendships and their impact on mental health. The information she found was eye-opening. Jane discovered that friendships, like any other relationship, should be balanced. They should be a source of joy and support, not stress and exhaustion. She learned about the signs of toxic friendships, constant negativity, lack of respect, one-sidedness, and dismissive attitudes towards one's feelings. The more Jane read, the more she realized that these signs were glaringly apparent in her own friendships. She found herself in the stories of others who had experienced the same thing. She recognized the constant drain on her energy, the feeling of walking on eggshells, the dread of meeting up with them. She began to understand that her feelings of exhaustion and frustration were not because she was a bad friend or because she was not doing enough. It was because her friendships were not healthy. They were not giving her the support, respect, and positivity that she deserved. This realization was a turning point for Jane. It was a moment of understanding that she had the right to step away from friendships that were causing her more harm than good. She understood that it was okay to prioritize her own mental health. She realized that she deserved better. This was a turning point for Jane. It was the moment she decided to take control of her happiness and well-being, to step away from negative friends. It was her moment of empowerment. Making a decision was not easy for Jane, but she knew what she had to do. Jane was at a crossroads. Her friends, the ones she had laughed with, cried with, and shared countless memories with, had become a source of negativity. She had to make a choice to step away, to distance herself from the toxicity that had been slowly seeping into her life. The decision was far from lighthearted. Jane felt a profound sense of loss, much like a bird might feel the first time it leaves the nest, uncertain and a little scared. After all, these were her friends, people she had trusted and held dear. Yet she knew she needed to prioritize her well-being, her peace of mind. She chose to step away from the negativity, to create a buffer zone, a place where she could breathe freely, without the burden of their pessimism weighing her down. As she began to distance herself, she faced challenges. There were guilt-tripping text messages, calls filled with accusations, and a barrage of questions. "Why are you acting this way?" they asked. "You've changed," they claimed. But Jane stood her ground. She knew that change was not always a bad thing. In fact, in this case, it was necessary. With each passing day, the decision became a little easier. The guilt lessened, the accusations mattered less, and the questions became more of a dull echo than a piercing scream. She began to feel a sense of relief, a lightness that she hadn't felt in a long time. She found herself laughing more, smiling more. She had time to pursue her interests, to explore new hobbies. She found a newfound sense of self, a self that wasn't defined by her friends or their negativity. She began to understand the true meaning of self-love and self-respect. In the end, the decision, as difficult as it was, brought Jane peace. She discovered that sometimes you have to let go of the familiar to embrace the new, to step away from the negative to find your positivity. It was a difficult journey, but Jane found her peace. After stepping away from her draining friends, Jane found a new lease on life. She discovered a newfound sense of freedom, like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. No longer was she burdened by the weight of negativity that had once shackled her spirits. It was as if she'd been given a fresh canvas, a chance to repaint her life with the colors of positivity. Jane's world, once clouded by pessimism and doubt, was now filled with optimism and hope. She found herself surrounded by individuals who uplifted her, who supported her dreams, and who celebrated her successes. These were friends who didn't drain her energy or fill her with self-doubt. Instead, they were the bearers of positivity, the kind of friends who brought sunshine to her life, even on the cloudiest of days. Jane's story is not just a tale about stepping away from negative friends, but it's a testament to the power of positive friendships. She learned that the company we keep can either elevate us or pull us down, and she chose to soar. In summary, the key takeaways from Jane's journey are quite simple yet profound. First, recognize the signs of a draining friendship. If a relationship constantly leaves you feeling exhausted, devalued, or stressed, it's time to reassess its worth. Second, understand the importance of setting boundaries. It's okay to say no and prioritize your mental well-being. Third, seek out positive relationships. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who encourage you, and who appreciate you for who you are. Jane's story is a reminder that it is not selfish to put yourself first. It is a necessity. Friendships are meant to be a source of joy, not a cause of constant stress. They should lift you up, not bring you down. They should make you feel valued, not worthless. Like Jane, it's essential for us to recognize when a friendship is more draining than fulfilling. Remember, it's okay to step away for your own well-being. After all, you owe it to yourself to live a life filled with happiness, positivity, and meaningful relationships.